The Last Guardian. The 7 moons of Zenith hung like jeweled pendants in the twilight sky as Aya stood at the edge of the floating citadel, her lavender skin catching the fading light. Beneath her, clouds swirled around the last sanctuary of her people, hiding the devastation that had claimed every other celestial city. "The Voidwalkers will return with the new dawn," whispered Kai, her faithful advisor, his silver-scaled face creased with worry. "We cannot withstand another assault." Aya's gaze remained fixed on the horizon where darkness gathered like a storm. "Then we shall not stand alone," she replied, her voice carrying a melody that rippled through the air. "The ancient texts speak of summoning warriors from beyond our realm in times of great need. The soul calling has not been attempted in 1,000 years, Kai cautioned. And even then, only 2 of the 7 summoned survived crossing between worlds. A faint smile touched Aya's lips. "One warrior with true purpose is worth more than an army without heart." As twilight deepened into night, Aya ascended the crystal spire at the center of Zenith. Citizens gathered below, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of memory lanterns. She raised her arms, her flowing silver robes billowing in the ethereal wind. "I call to the stars beyond stars," she began, her voice resonating with power. "To souls of courage and hearts unbroken. Win my war and you shall win my soul." The air shimmered as her words rippled outward, tearing holes between dimensions. Light poured from the rifts, blinding in its intensity as 7 circles appeared on the platform before her. For several heartbeats, nothing happened. The citizens of Zenith held their breath, hope and fear mingling in equal measure. Then a figure stumbled through one of the portals. A man dressed in strange attire, what Aya would later learn was called a lab coat, disheveled and disoriented. He fell to his knees, gasping for breath, his dark hair streaked with silver. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "What just happened?" "You are in Zenith, the last city of the celestial realm," Aya answered, approaching cautiously. "I am Aya, guardian of the 7 moons, and you are?" The man stood shakily, adjusting strange transparent devices that sat upon his nose. "Dr. Alexander Chen," he replied, looking around in bewilderment. "Though most people call me Alex." Whispers rippled through the crowd. Only one portal had opened. Only one warrior had answered the call. "What do you mean, win your soul?" Alex asked, his scientific mind already grappling with his new reality. "And why me?" "I'm not a warrior. I'm a physicist." Aya studied him carefully, her luminous eyes seeing beyond physical appearance. "The call seeks those with the capacity to save us," she explained. "Warriors come in many forms, Dr. Chen." Before Alex could respond, a tremor shook the floating city. In the distance, black shapes moved against the night sky, the vanguard of the Voidwalkers returning earlier than expected. "They've sensed the portal energy," Kai said urgently. "We must prepare." Aya turned to Alex, her expression solemn. "I cannot send you back. The passage between worlds closes quickly. You are bound to our fate now." Alex looked from Aya to the approaching darkness, then at the frightened faces of the citizens below. He straightened his shoulders, a determination forming within him that surprised even himself. "Then tell me how I can help," he said simply. Aya's eyes widened slightly, seeing something in this stranger that gave her hope. "First," she said, "you must pass the trials to prove your worth. Only then will you truly understand what it means to win my war and my soul." The first light of dawn broke over the horizon as Aya led Alex toward the inner sanctum, the future of Zenith now resting on the shoulders of its unlikely champion. Trials of Starlight. The crystal labyrinth stretched before Alex like a maze of frozen light, each corridor reflecting distorted versions of himself. He followed Aya through the twisting passages, trying to ignore the whispers that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. "The first trial tests your mind," Aya explained, her voice soft yet clear in the strange acoustics of the labyrinth. "Many warriors believe strength alone wins wars, but insight reveals the true path to victory." Alex adjusted his glasses, a nervous habit from his days in university laboratories. "I've spent my career solving puzzles," he said with a small smile. Though none quite like this, Aya paused, turning to face him. In the crystalline light, her purple skin seemed to shimmer with inner constellations. "The labyrinth changes for each seeker," she warned. "It will find your deepest questions and offer no answers, only paths." With that, she stepped backward into a wall of crystal and vanished, leaving Alex alone. "Well, that's helpful," he muttered to himself, then immediately felt foolish. This wasn't a physics problem he could solve with equations. This was something else entirely. The first junction presented 3 identical corridors. As he approached, images formed in each. On the left, his laboratory on Earth. In the center, a shimmering doorway he couldn't quite make out. On the right, a battlefield where shadowy figures clashed beneath Zenith's floating islands. Alex hesitated. The left path called to him with its familiarity, but he knew it represented the past. The right showed the conflict to come, but rushing toward battle without understanding seemed foolish. The middle path, he decided, stepping forward. Hours passed as Alex navigated the labyrinth, each choice revealing something about himself. He discovered patterns where others might see only chaos, connections hidden within reflections. Finally, he emerged into a circular chamber where Aya waited, her expression unreadable. "You found your way," she observed. "The labyrinth isn't meant to be solved," Alex replied, understanding dawning. "It's meant to be navigated with purpose, each path valid for different reasons." A smile touched Aya's lips. "The first trial is complete," she said. "Now comes the second." They traveled to a cliff overlooking a vast expanse where reality itself seemed thin. A single mirror stood at the edge, its surface swirling with mist. "The mirror of truth," Aya said quietly. "It reflects not your face, but your heart." Alex approached cautiously. "What am I supposed to do?" "Look," she said simply, "and do not turn away no matter what you see." Taking a deep breath, Alex stood before the mirror. At first, he saw only swirling fog, but then images began to form. He saw himself in his laboratory, the moment when his experimental dimensional gateway had first activated, not by accident as he'd told his colleagues, but by deliberate calculation. He saw the faces of those who had warned him about the dangers, whom he had ignored in his pursuit of discovery. "I knew there might be risks," he whispered, "but I didn't stop." The mirror shifted, showing a tear in reality that had formed on Earth after his experiment. Small, almost unnoticeable, but growing. The same kind of tear that had allowed the Voidwalkers to find Zenith. "No," Alex gasped, stepping back. "Did I cause this? Did I create the path that led them here?" Aya stood silent, watching him struggle with this revelation. In the mirror, a final image formed, Alex standing at a crossroads, one path leading to glory and recognition, the other toward sacrifice and redemption. He forced himself to keep watching, though tears formed in his eyes. "I chose wrong before," he admitted. "I won't make that mistake again." The mirror's surface cleared, becoming transparent. Through it, Alex could see the sprawling city of Zenith with its people going about their lives, unaware of how close destruction loomed. Aya moved to stand beside him, her hand gently touching his shoulder. "Few have the courage to face their truths without flinching," she said. "You have passed the second trial." That night, as they stood on a balcony beneath the 7 moons, Alex found himself studying Aya's profile. She wasn't human, yet there was something profoundly familiar in her determined stance and the weight of responsibility she carried. "Why me?" he asked finally. "Of all the warriors you could have summoned, why did only I appear?" Aya turned to him, her luminous eyes reflecting starlight. "Perhaps because you seek to repair what was broken," she suggested. "Or perhaps because some souls are drawn to each other across the vastness of worlds." For a moment, neither spoke, the air between them charged with something neither yet dared name. Then a distant alarm shattered the silence. "The Voidwalkers," Aya said, her voice hardening. "They've breached the outer barriers," Alex nodded, newfound determination rising within him. "Then it's time I meet them," he said. "Show me what we're facing." As they hurried toward the city's defenses, Alex's mind raced with possibilities. If his experiment had created this threat, perhaps the same principles could help defeat it. And perhaps in doing so, he could truly earn the right to win not just Aya's war, but her trust as well. Shadows of the past. The defense chamber of Zenith buzzed with activity as Aya led Alex through a maze of crystalline terminals where celestial operators monitored the city's protective barriers. Holographic displays showed the Voidwalkers' positions, writhing shadows that seemed to bend and distort the very fabric of reality around them. "They're unlike anything I've ever seen," Alex murmured, leaning closer to study the images. "They're not just passing through dimensions, they're warping them." "The Voidwalkers were once like us," Aya replied, her voice carrying a hint of ancient sorrow. Celestials who ventured too far beyond the known realms and were changed. A tall, muscular man with intricate silver markings covering his azure skin approached them. Guardian Aya, he said with a formal bow. The outer shield is holding for now, but they're probing for weaknesses. Thank you, Cooper, she responded. This is Dr. Chen, our summoned warrior. Cooper's eyes narrowed skeptically. This is who answered the soul calling? One man? One is all we need if he's the right one, Aya said with quiet authority. Dr. Chen has passed the first 2 trials. Alex extended his hand in greeting, then awkwardly withdrew it when Cooper merely stared. Different cultures, he reminded himself. Different worlds. I may not look like a warrior, Alex said, but I understand dimensional physics. If these void walkers are manipulating reality, I might be able to develop a countermeasure. Cooper seemed unimpressed, but nodded respectfully to Aya before returning to his post. Don't mind him, Aya said softly. Cooper has lost much to the void walkers. His entire family was in Meridian City when it fell. She guided Alex to a quieter section of the chamber where ancient texts and artifacts were displayed alongside advanced technology. Here, she said, gesturing to the collection, our history and our science. Perhaps together they hold the answer. For hours, Alex immersed himself in the knowledge of Zenith, drawing connections between the celestial mathematics of Aya's people and the theories he had developed on Earth. Occasionally, he would look up to find Aya watching him, her expression thoughtful. You said the Voidwalkers were once celestials, he said during one such moment. What happened to them? Aya's gaze became distant. They sought knowledge in the spaces between dimensions, what we call the void. Something found them there, something ancient and hungry. It remade them. And now they want to remake everything else, Alex concluded. Yes, she replied, starting with Zenith, the last bastion of pure dimensional energy. As night fell, alarms blared through the city. The holographic displays showed a focused assault on the eastern barrier. They've never attacked with such precision before, Cooper called out, his voice tight with concern. The chamber doors burst open as Kai rushed in. Guardian, he exclaimed. They've breached the memorial district and they have a leader. The main display shifted to show a tall figure striding through the chaos. Unlike the writhing shadows of the other Voidwalkers, this one maintained a humanoid form. A woman with obsidian skin marked with pulsing violet lines. She moved with terrible purpose, her eyes fixed on the crystal spire. Alex felt the blood drain from his face. No, he whispered. It can't be. You know her? Aya asked sharply. Sarah, he said, the name falling from his lips like a stone. Dr. Sarah Ishida. She was my research partner on Earth. She disappeared during our experiment. I thought she died. Understanding dawned in Aya's eyes. The tear in reality you created didn't just reach Zenith, she said. It reached the void as well. Before Alex could respond, the dark figure on the screen looked directly at the camera, as if sensing their observation. Her lips moved, forming words that chilled Alex's soul. I am Commander Rena now, she said, her voice distorted yet recognizable. And I've come for you, Alex. The feed cut to static. We need to evacuate the memorial district, Aya ordered, her voice steady despite the revelation. Cooper, coordinate with the defense forces. Kai, prepare the inner sanctum. As the chamber emptied, Aya turned to Alex, who stood frozen before the static-filled screen. You didn't tell me everything about your experiment, she said, not accusingly, but with newfound wariness. I didn't know, Alex replied, his voice hollow. Sarah volunteered to test the dimensional gateway. When she vanished, I shut everything down. I never imagined. Aya stepped closer, her luminous eyes searching his. What did you truly seek with your gateway, Dr. Chen? Understanding, he answered honestly. A way to prove that other dimensions existed. I never meant to create a weapon. For a long moment, Aya studied him. Then, to his surprise, she took his hand in hers. Her touch was warm, sending an unexpected current through him. Intentions matter, she said softly. But now we must face the consequences together. That night, as they prepared for battle, Alex found himself drawn to Aya's quarters, a chamber of living crystal that pulsed with soft light. She stood at the window watching her city prepare for war. We should talk about Sarah. About Commander Rena, he said. Yes, Aya agreed, turning to face him. But first, I think there are other truths between us that need acknowledgement. She moved closer. the space between them charged with unspoken feelings. In the ancient texts, she murmured, it is said that souls called across dimensions are bound by more than chance. Alex's heart raced as he reached out, hesitantly tracing the luminous markings on her cheek. Is that why I feel like I've been searching for you without knowing it? Her answer was to draw him closer, their worlds colliding in a kiss that felt like coming home to a place he'd never been before. The broken veil. The edge of creation stretched before Alex and Aya like a cosmic shoreline, where reality itself thinned to a shimmering membrane. Behind them, Zenith's floating spires glowed faintly in the distance. Ahead lay the growing rift, a wound in the universe that pulsed with void energy. This is where it begins and ends, Aya whispered, her purple skin luminous against the cosmic backdrop. The tear you inadvertently created has grown, feeding on dimensional energy. Alex studied the rift with both scientific curiosity and deep remorse. It's similar to my original gateway, but exponentially larger, he observed. Sarah, Rena, must have helped it grow. They had slipped away from Zenith's defenses following Alex's theory that the rift could be sealed from this precise location. Cooper had protested, insisting on accompanying them, but Aya had assigned him to protect the city instead. The quantum resonator should disrupt the void energy, Alex explained, assembling the device he'd created using Zenith's technology combined with his Earth science. If we can reverse the polarity of the tear, a cold laugh echoed around them. Always the brilliant theorist, Alex. Commander Rena stepped from the shadows, her once human form now a vessel of void energy. The violet lines across her obsidian skin pulsed with each word. Sarah, Alex said, stepping forward. This isn't you. Sarah died in your gateway, she replied coldly. Rena was born in the void, and now I'll finish what you started. Aya moved to Alex's side, her hand finding his. The void didn't give you power, she said to Rena. It merely uses you as a conduit. Rena's eyes narrowed. How touching. The Guardian finds love as her world crumbles. It doesn't have to be this way, Alex pleaded. We can heal the rift together. For just a moment, something flickered in Rena's eyes. Recognition, perhaps even regret. But then void energy surged around her. Too late, she hissed as she lunged toward them. The battle at the edge of creation tore reality further as Aya's celestial energy clashed with Rena's void powers. Alex worked frantically on his device, knowing their only hope was to seal the rift before it consumed everything. As the quantum resonator activated, energy spiraled toward the tear. Rena screamed in fury, directing a final blast at Aya. Without hesitation, Alex threw himself between them. Souls intertwined, pain engulfed Alex as void energy tore through him. He collapsed into Aya's arms, the quantum resonator still humming beside them. Alex, Aya cried, cradling his face. Why would you do that? Through blurring vision, he saw Rena approaching, her expression conflicted. The resonator's energy had affected her, momentarily breaking the void's hold. It wasn't supposed to end like this, Rena whispered, Sarah's voice bleeding through. The void promised knowledge, not destruction. Alex reached weakly for the device. It's working, he gasped. The rift is closing, but the energy needs somewhere to go. Understanding dawned in Aya's eyes. A vessel, she said. It needs a vessel. Before Alex could protest, Aya placed her hand over his heart. Our souls are already bound, she whispered. What I offered in my challenge I now give freely. Celestial light poured from her into Alex, intertwining with his fading life force. The quantum resonator pulsed in response, creating a feedback loop that pulled void energy from the rift. Rena fell to her knees. I can feel it, she said, wonder replacing malice. The void is releasing me. With the last of his strength, Alex extended his hand to Rena. Then help us finish this. In a final act of redemption, Rena grasped his hand. The three formed a circuit, celestial, human, and void, their energies flowing together toward the resonator. Light exploded outward as the rift collapsed. When it faded, Alex found himself standing whole again, but changed. Celestial energy coursed through him, binding him to this world, to Aya. Beside them lay Sarah, the void entity Rena expelled from her body. It worked, Aya breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. The rift is sealed. Alex looked down at his hands, now faintly marked with the same luminous patterns as Aya's skin. We're truly bound now, he said. As it was always meant to be, she replied, drawing him close. From Zenith came signals of victory. The Void Walkers retreating without their commander, the city saved. Sarah stirred, her eyes clear for the first time since she'd disappeared into Alex's gateway. I remember everything, she murmured. Both worlds. As they helped Sarah to her feet, Alex gazed at the horizon where stars shimmered between the 7 moons. His war was won, not through strength alone, but through sacrifice and understanding. Aya's hand found his, their souls resonating in perfect harmony. You didn't just win my war, she whispered. You found the path to peace and to you, he replied. No longer a physicist from Earth or a summoned warrior, but something new, a guardian of the threshold between worlds, bound to the woman whose soul called to his across dimensions. Together they walked back toward Zenith, their intertwined shadows stretching before them, neither fully celestial nor human, but a bridge between realms that would ensure no more rifts would ever threaten either world again.